She was almost a villain.
Yeah, well,
Sheena thought it was just over the top. She just thought it was too much. She didn't like it, and it irritated her. You want to say?
I think Amoroso was manipulated a little bit by the producers because it made for such. I mean, they
The Jerry Springer effect, maybe.
Yeah, playing that stereotype worked for the ratings for the show. I think.
Yeah, and I probably so.
Voluntary participant.
Well, yeah, I think she was a very intense person by personality, but I think she was manipulated to some degree by the show.
Okay. And this is Terry in the film The Barbershop. I don't know if anyone has seen that, but I need to go back and watch it. I saw this movie, but she was very aggressive and just mean and just always, she was one of the female barbers in this barbershop. But that's she's the real life rapper Eve. Okay, and then of course I mentioned the case about the Rutgers women's basketball team. And I asked the question, who is the nappy-headed hoe? Well, hoe is an abbreviated term for the derogatory term whore, and a lot of rappers use it in their music. They use the word hoe, but it's a synonym for the word woman. When they're really making a point, they may say my hoe this, my hoe, and but unfortunately that's where it came from. So they use it all the time, but then Don Imus uses it, and so everything just goes berserk. Nappy-head, that's historically that term has meant to demean a black person who allows her or his hair to grow out naturally and display its natural kinky or tightly curled texture, the afro. That's considered, unfortunately, a lot of black people, we still use the term bad hair. But if your hair is straight and it's not as kinky and wavy and looks a little more like Indians or white people's hair, that's considered good hair. But our natural hair, a lot of people were taught to not like it, and it's nothing to go around a family at a gathering and somebody mentions somebody's hair is so bad. It's so bad. What that means is it's so much like the West African hair that we came to America with before we started mixing a lot. Okay, so that term, but as you can see, a lot of people, I wear natural hair on purpose now. I like my natural hair. You can just do so much with it. I just like it. But I've gone through the stages, to be honest with you, where I've wished it were more like my cousin's hair who had the straight hair. I've been through all those psychological trips too. But Don Imus, he was chastised for using those terms. So that's that background. Did I go backwards? Okay. Okay, that takes me into another part of my dissertation. Where my dissertation stopped was that I ended up showing photos. I'll back up a little bit. I did a presentation once at University of Missouri and showed how women who look a certain way, black women who look more European than African. My point was I made the point that they typically have more better life chances. They can get the rich guys faster because they have that preferred look, like Lena Horne, Alicia Keys, Halle Berry. I mean, there's a radio DJ back home now. It's nothing for him in the morning to make a comment to the male listeners about how good she looks, Halle Berry. Now, he's happily married, but he's just hung up on Halle Berry. And she's biracial, and I'm thinking, he's really hung up on that. And Fantasia, she just has nothing good to say about Fantasia. Well, she's dark. She had short hair. But anyway, so I made that comment that I showed a picture of Eddie Murphy and his then wife, Nicole, who is a biracial woman. And I made the comment that that's a good catch, and, because of the way she looks, she had a better chance of getting Murphy because that look is considered the preferred and the more attractive look in a lot of African American communities. And my professor, one of the professors in the audience who ended up being my dissertation advisor, made the comment later. She wrote a comment on a paper of mine that she read. She said, "Lillie, this might be colorism, but I see sexism in big red letters." And so what we did, she ended up being my dissertation advisor, and she guided me into setting up a new paradigm for looking at images. She said, well, maybe there needs to be a new way of looking at these images, because it's obvious that black women see things in photos that a lot of white women don't see, and you all look at different images, and so that's where it took off. From that, several focus groups later, several interviews and coding of photos with black and white female coders, and showing my photos to focus groups of black and white women, I ended up with 4 factors that my professor and I said 4 factors that demonstrated how we see photos of women, of black women. These are the way the factors, this is what we named the factors. Actually, she came up with these names. We came up with the leader, the upstanding woman, the charmer, and I've got another one, but it's corrected on down in the show. Let's see. The first factor is the leader. The words that loaded up around that factor were powerful, aggressive, dominant, and determined. And I was thinking, I said, is that what people mean by an angry person? I said, well, maybe we need to start filtering those, or putting those terms out in the media and saying, Michelle Obama is what you consider a leader in the black community. She's a leader. It's kind of generic, but you see a lot of these. This is what you might, I haven't tried it yet, but this might be the way people describe her. Powerful, dominant, aggressive, determined. My other factor, the upstanding woman, the words that clustered around that factor were dignified, honest, modest, and peaceful. So the new Michelle Obama, maybe this is the image that the Obama people want you to see now, particularly during election season. Dignified, honest, modest, and peaceful, not angry. The charmer, the words that loaded up around this factor were happy, skinny, sexy, and attractive. And I don't have any photos from the study to show you, but these are the words that the women were giving me. And we went through and looked at all the words, and this is what came up. And I'm saying, well, I can see the sexy being part of the Jezebel thing. Attractive, you see that. So the careerist, that was my other one. It's not on the other slide. The careerist. These are the words that loaded up, or the descriptors that loaded up around the careerist. Independent, career-oriented, successful, and not loving her man. I was looking at that list as I was getting ready for this talk today. I said independent, career-oriented, and successful, and then not loving her man. Is that a form of, I see a little bit of the matriarch there. Then I see the successful. So I don't know. I can see a little bit of Miss Obama there too, but from what I can tell, she loves her man. So I said, well, that doesn't fit. Yeah. So, but anyway, so this is what we suggest, or I suggested, and I did publish a study that describes how I came up with these 4 new images. And that's why I named the paper No Longer Nappy-Headed and Angry. I was like, look at what I've done. Hey, I've got another way you can describe black women. Read my paper. That was the point of this. Okay, so that's kind of where I am with that. And we can have some feedback, and I think some more images are going to come up. This is Sheena's. These are her special effects. I didn't do all that. I can't get.
Before we go, we had an interesting discussion about where you put Oprah in that. I think at the conference.
Yeah.
So why don't you talk about that?
I don't remember. I don't remember what I said about Oprah. She would definitely be in entertainment media, and a little bit of news. But